Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. Sorry it's been a while. I've had, some of you know, a lot of things are going on behind the background for us. And yeah, sorry about that, but it is what it is. Anyway, here we are. If you are watching, tuning in, thanks very much. Really appreciate it. This week has been good in terms of getting the work done. In fact, this month has been good for me anyway, of getting the work planned done in regards with the weather. And last week, it's definitely something we haven't been used to, is it? After these 6 months of pretty piss poor weather, really. It's been a major difference, isn't it? From one extreme to the other. And it sort of shows you how we're not really used to this sort of stuff. So sunglasses have been out. I've actually put the shorts on this week as well. Yeah, so long may this continue. However, the hot weather that does come along does bring its problems as well, which I'm sure everyone's aware. Definitely sunglasses are a must. Just go on my first year when I was starting, I didn't think about sunglasses at all. And you don't realise how bad the sun glare off the glass while you're looking up can be. And when you're dealing with white UPVC, it kind of feels like it's glowing white as well. And it does affect your eyes, especially when you're dealing with houses with render as well. And if you're not careful, you'll end up what I had. I ended up with dry eye. So I used to drive along, my eyes would start stinging to the point where I'd just have to close them. And I'd quickly have to pull over because I couldn't really see what I was doing. And then the stinginess would disappear after a little while. So when I went to the doctors anyway, told them what's happened, asked, is it to do with my job as a window cleaner looking up? Because it's the only thing I could think of. And yes, it was. It dry eyed, so I had to get some eye drops. Since then, touch wood, have been all right. And I've been using the sunglasses. So they are a must. Top tip, have your sunglasses. I know a lot of people wear like hats and things like that because you're dealing with the sun. You've got to think you're out on this all day, aren't you? And what you do find in this nice weather, even though you can crack on with your work, a lot of your customers, especially the ones who are retired, they're often out in the garden doing a lot of work, keeping the garden nice and neat and keeping themselves active and everything. So they're kind of chilled, and then you come round, you end up losing a bit of time because you're chatting more, but it's all part of the job. And so you can lose a bit of time that way. But then again, sometimes it is nice to take a little bit of a break, isn't it? And they always offer you like a drink or a cup of tea or something, or a cold can of something. And, you know what I mean? You might as well take the break, have the nice chat. It's not often we have this nice weather, is it, over here? Soon will be the opposite, won't it? And raining and no one out speaking to you. And sometimes you're getting rained off from your work. So I'm hoping this month will continue this way. I get all my work booked in. I've been picking up new customers as well. Don't know about you guys, but I think it's a lot for a lot of people. It's getting busy with the hot weather coming out. People are starting to think, I want all my fascia soffits and gutters clean. So I've had a few of these jobs booked in. For me, I don't know about you guys, but my gutter clearing is busier this time of year than what it is in the autumn, even though I recommend everyone should just call me when the leaves stop falling to have the gutters cleared out. Because if I do it before then, it's going to get covered with leaves anyway at some point. So wait till the leaves in your area stopped, then give me a call. But I think with Christmas, some people don't, or it's forgotten about. And then come the summer, all your grass is growing well in your garden and all the plants and wildlife, but so's everything in your gutters. And people start seeing that sprouting out. So you start getting asked, can you clear out my gutters? So I get a lot of these gutter jobs coming this time of year as well. So we've done a few of them. Got a couple of gutter days booked in so far. Conservatory roofs are another thing where people will be asking alongside the fascia soffits and gutters. So everyone's going to be looking forward to this hot spell. Long may it continue. I hope so anyway. But yeah, you've got to make sure you've got enough water as well. For me, I've brought a cool box, 15 quid for Mazda. I order some stuff to make pizzas. I like making pizzas homemade. And some of the stuff I deliver comes wrapped in, I can't even think of the word now, but the little plastic bags full of water, so to speak, solid bags. And they use that to keep all the food cool. So I've kept some of them, put them in the freezer. I'm using them as ice blocks in my cool box. And that's where we're putting the sandwiches, my water, the odd can of Coke, that sort of thing. And it has been a godsend, really. It works really well. And because I have it stored in the back of the van and it's next to my tank, it's cooler in there as well. And the tank obviously helps keep the temperature down in the back of the vehicle. So it's keeping everything nice and cool, which is refreshing for us. Excuse me, and thinking of water, I'm going to have some. And luckily as well, most customers have an outside tap. So when I finish me water bottle, I just fill it up again, put it back in the cool box, and away we go. So yeah, take plenty of fluids on, that's for sure. It's so easy to try and crack on and get all your work done, because you're going to slow down during the day because of the blazing heat anyway. So you've got to find that happy medium. But you're trying to push through your work as well, because you will find the pollen starts to appear, or probably already has, on the windows. You're getting a lot of birds' mess because all the young birds are out flying. The mum and dads are flying around eating on the move, trying to feed their little uns. So the windows get quite dirty, and the sun's baking them on, so they take that little bit longer to clean as well. So you're working hard, longer, and in the blazing sun. So have plenty of fluids like water and the odd can of Coke, because that obviously is really refreshing. It's not exactly hydrating though, but yeah, it's nice. Take your breaks. Sometimes getting a bit of shade as well, especially if you're talking to your customers and there's any shade about, make use of it, eh? But yeah, no, it's all been good. And I've got a lot of work booked in for this month. I always have every month, but I'm just hoping this month I'll actually get the work done, because I'm not being weathered off. And I'm hoping to get a few months like that. I suppose we all are. And also something else I thought worth mentioning is Your Cleaner Windows got in touch with me and come up with what I thought was a brilliant idea. And he was suggesting maybe he should invite like a guest on the live. So I'm thinking once a month. I'll see what you think. And I'm probably I don't know if everyone agrees with this, whether you'd have it at the beginning or the end of the month or somewhere in the middle. I'm thinking towards the end, or maybe the beginning of the month, so you can talk about how good last month's been, for example. So we start on a high. And just for chit chat really, so other people can come in. So you, my viewers, I was thinking once a month, get in touch with us and we'll try and sort out like a roster a month where you can come invited in on the live, and we can just talk about window cleaning, and anyone else watching in then can kind of compare notes and ask questions on the live as well to you and myself, obviously, and see if we can just help each other out. Because you could have about, say, 100 window cleaners cleaning the same house, and the majority are going to do something different. And we could probably all learn from that. We all have our own ways. But some things, in it, when you look at someone else, you try that, it's a cracking idea, or it just doesn't work for you, you know what I mean? So it could be some little nuggets of information there to help everyone along. So see what you think. Put them in the comments below, and then we try and organise it. But as Your Cleaner Windows got first dibs coming up with the idea, he said he'll go first as well. So he'll be the first guest. I use something called Ecamm Live. I believe I'll have to look it up on YouTube how to do this. I can send a link out via that to you. You don't have to have Ecamm Live. And basically the link, you click on that and then it gets you to a guest on the show. So probably the day before, we'll probably get in touch. I've got to figure it out myself, to be honest. And then we can do a little test, see how all the audio is, the video settings, and just see so that it works, basically. And then we can have a little chit chat amongst ourselves, a bit of prep, I suppose, so we can settle into it and hopefully just enjoy it, maybe have a beer as we're doing it, that sort of thing. So see what you think, put the comments below for us, and then we'll get this up and running. And I thought it was a cracking idea. So cheers, Your Cleaner Windows, thanks for that. I had thought about getting guests on here, but obviously you're thinking like Squeaky Clean Dave and maybe Ashley McIntosh, people like that. But I thought his idea is better. So why not get you yourself on here and just talk about how we do stuff, obviously. You don't have to go right into the weeds or get any personal stuff in there. Just what you feel comfortable with, really. And like I said, it could be some good bits of nuggets of information in there for someone. Well, that's what we're hoping for. And I think it's a brilliant idea. Sorry, I just got a comment and pressing the wrong button. Hi, Rob. You all right, mate? And cheers, mate. Yeah, it's your idea. So I'll just look into it, work it all out, how it all works, and then we'll test it. We'll see anyway. The best thing to do, isn't it, sometimes is jump in the deep end with 2 feet and you've only got one option, and that's swim. So you kind of work it out. Just like how we all start window cleaning, really, isn't it? And you work it out as you go along. But yeah, I thought it was a cracking idea, mate. Thanks for that. That was awesome. And hopefully it'll go down well. So like I said, just leave all your comments down and we'll see what the replies are. We'll work something out, because we all do stuff differently, don't we, from each other. But today I have not cleaned my van. It's just too hot to go out washing cars or vans to me. So I've just left it. It's not minging anyway. The winter in it would be absolutely covered in all sorts of mud, especially where I am, because it's rural. So you've got all the tractors and the mud on the roads. Summer's not too bad. But I do like to clean my van every Sunday, give it a good pull through, clean all the inside, service all my kit. But I have done my poles. That is something religious once a week. So is my son. And we're using that cleaner pole stuff. Pole care, I can't remember what it was called. That stuff is absolutely brilliant. I absolutely rate it. And that bottle I brought, I reckon, is going to last me at least 6 months, compared to something I was spending that amount of money on every month. So it's going to save me money. And it's standing up well. It's getting me through the week, no problems. So yeah, I like it. Kit-wise, I've had a couple of small issues going, but it's just mainly with the old gardener's backpack. A lot of the stuff on there are cheap parts anyway, so you don't expect them to last forever. So you're getting what you pay for. But the plus side is when something goes on it, it's cheap and it's easy to replace as well. So I've got a couple of bits coming through. I've also got a couple of bits off eBay. Don't know if anyone here's used it. It's like the unofficial univalve repair kit. It's just under a tenner, and I brought 2 for like 14 quid because I've got a couple of univalves a bit hard to pull to turn the water on or off. So I'm going to give them a go. And if they're any cop, I'll mention it as well. We'll just see how they get on. There's always something to do, isn't it, and tinker with. But luckily for me so far, kit-wise, I'm all right. I've got a new steel wheel for my van. I've just got to come up with the money to put the new tyre on it. And then that's sorted. But then because how I am, now I've got 1 new steel wheel on my van. The other 3 are rusty. I'm going to slowly replace them. So eventually they'll look a bit better. That's just me. It's a van at the end of the day, innit? But it's your office, innit? Got to look after it. If that's not on the road, you ain't earning money. So it's always a worry, really, innit? We take it for granted when we turn that key that it's going to start, but we don't half moan when it don't. Shows you how important it is, really. Yeah, so anyway, long may this hot weather come here. I haven't really looked on the weather forecast because I don't want to get too upbeat and I don't want to look at it. If it rains, it rains. It does its own thing anyway, and I try and work regardless. But did anyone see? I don't think it was on the news. I'm sure it's in my Facebook feed. There's a window cleaner who'd lost part of his arm. I believe from just reading this article, because obviously you don't know how true it is, he was cleaning someone's windows, and in the back garden there's some overhead cables, and the electric had basically jumped across onto his pole and yeah, burnt him pretty bad, and he's very lucky to be here. And yeah, that's definitely food for thought reading that. But it turns out, I think with the wires, with the electric companies or whatever, they regarded it as safe enough. But what people are saying is it's directly over someone's garden. Kids could be out with fishing rods or playing, and it could have been a kid. And the wires weren't insulated, by the way. So I think if someone done an assessment, it should have been maybe pointing out that they should have been insulated. If they had, this accident wouldn't have happened. So again, it's something to be careful about, isn't it, when we're using a water-fed poles. I know there's a lot of places I've been wary, but it's turned out to be like telephone cables, but you don't want to get complacent because you do have electric wires coming out to some of the houses I go, pretty rural. So it's something to be aware of, isn't it, when you're doing the old gutter clearing as well with your poles. So yeah, please have your wits about you there. It's not nice, isn't it? Especially if you're a family person, it's your whole family's affected by it. So be careful. Oh no, battery flat on your van today. Glad I realised today. Yeah, not in the morning like you're saying when you're having to go out. So hopefully, I take it you're going to put it on some kind of trickle charge. and it'll be long enough to test it before finding out in the morning. I had a battery issue once. It was while I was at a customer's house, and then my van just wouldn't start. And it'd been playing up a little bit beforehand, but I didn't think much to it. So I knew my battery had probably gone. But yeah, I needed a new battery. As soon as I had a new battery fitted in, it was completely fine. So thank God for Halfords. So I hope it's an easy fix, mate. Just got to look at another comment. Just coming to you, Robert. Saying I needed some advice. I did a conservatory on the roof, which was a blue type of glass, and it was an absolute nightmare to keep it clean. Any ideas, please? Thanks. I take it as slightly blue means it's probably tinted glass. All I know for me with tinted glass is to be careful and not use anything abrasive, because sometimes a tinted glass it's going to have like a film. You can get different ones. You can get films where people put them on normal glass on the outside, so that's going to scratch really easy. Or obviously you get the glass which is tinted itself. And if it's been tinted on the inside of the glass, you're going to probably be okay. But I always just work on the side of caution. So if it's tinted glass, don't use anything abrasive. And I guess that's where it was a nightmare for you, because you probably realised and worked that out. And sometimes I think when you've got no choices, use something abrasive, but try and do it lightly. It's just, I think this time of year, isn't it? Whatever's on there has been baked on over a period of time as well. So I would just give everything a really good, soak, and let the water soak in. Problem is this time of year, innit? The water's drying off quick. So it's going to slow you down. So just keep soaking it, scrubbing. And I try and pre-wet a patch while I'm working on an area. So when I come to air it, it's had a bit of a pre-soak, and then work my way around like that. That's worth a try. TFR. Anything to give it a bit of like soap, bit of shifting power, I suppose. You got your scrapers, but again, if it's tinted glass, you want to be really careful with that. But what you could do is when you go around for your quote, is when you get up there, it's always worth having a look. And if you notice it, just explain to the customer that it's tinted glass, because it's happened a few times where I say that and then they say, yeah, that's correct. So I suppose it also points out to being observant, and then I just explain I can't use anything too abrasive on there in case I ruin the tinted glass, basically. That's all I've got advice-wise. It's just a lot of elbow grease work, I suppose. But I suppose if you manage and point things out to the customer, it might not be 100% perfect, but we all try to get there, don't we? But if anyone else has got any points to help Robert out, please put them in the comments and just discuss it amongst yourselves freely as well. That's what it's all about, isn't it? But yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? I mean, I have done some tall bits of glass, and people have, on the inside, I was doing an inside job once, and it was just a film that was sort of stuck on. And I knew if I even use something like steel wool, it's just going to scratch. So I just explained to him, there's going to be some marks on there I want to get off, but I just simply can't, because I'm just going to make it worse. But sometimes you don't find it out till you're doing it. Right, Type Marker. Hi, mate. Just wondering if anyone has any tips for cleaning off hard water stains from windows. I come across a really badly stained glass recently. Cheers. Yeah, just give us a sec, mate. I'll just go to this website here. In fact, what we'll do is if I can find the right screen share. Here we go. Right, I'm on Window Cleaning Warehouse, but you can probably get this from anywhere. What I like using is Unger Rub Out. This stuff. I can't remember how much you get in the bottle, but it does last a long time. YouTube it, mate. There's a guy, what's he called? Darren from Pro Green Limited. This is where I saw him using it. You only need like a pea-shaped size, and if you put it on a walnut pad holder or some steel wool as well, it's basically a bit more abrasive, but it's good at getting rid of hard water. So it's good for even getting up UPVC as well. When it's all grey and that, it gets it back to its white colour. So you can use it on your plastics and your glass. It's really good stuff. This is what I definitely recommend. I use it. I've got a couple of bottles of it, and it will last you a long time. And it's £16.98, including VAT. Obviously, you've got postage and packaging on top of that, but you'll probably find it in most of your other suppliers out there. That's definitely what I would use. It's really good stuff. And like I said, it's specific for hard water stains as well. So hopefully that should answer your question, I hope. That's definitely what I would use. All right, Unger Rub Out. I know a lot of people might suggest things like pink stuff, but I would go for Unger Rub Out. It's what it's designed for. It's really good. There are obviously other stuff you can use, probably what your missus use on the showers, that sort of thing. But I would use Unger Rub Out, mate. It's absolutely brilliant. It's quite good at other jobs as well, not just hard water. Going back to it, there's a particular house I cleaned. There was one window. It was always drying, really spotty, was all confused. But then he found the answer. He's got an overflow pipe. And then the water was coming out that. It was landing on the conservatory roof, which was making it splash across. And the wind was blowing the splash onto this particular window. And that's how it was all coming up. And I used this right in front of him. And it got it done, no problem. So he was going to buy some and do it himself. But every time we go around to clean it, it's there. So bog standard, I just put a P-shaped bit of that on a walnut pad, pre-wet the window, and then use my walnut pad with the pea-sized bit of the Unger Rub Out and just rub it all over the glass. And then when I clean it with water-fed pole, all them hard water stains have gone. And you'll probably find this year as well, mate, is when people are like hosing their plants, especially if you've got any window boxes or plants that are in the borders close to the windows, you're going to get spray, and you often find on the lower windows there's hard water stains there from when people have been watering the plants as well. So this stuff is really good. I've even used it on the odd couple of windows where they've got the lead strips across the windows, and then what happens is as the lead starts to get old, it seems to leak down across the windows and leaves a little slight stain. Unger Rub Out gets rid of them as well. So like every quarter on these particular bits of the windows, I'll use this stuff to get rid of it, because in the summer, obviously it stands out like a dog's bollock in the summer. So I tend to pay a bit more attention there, just to make the customer a bit happier, and so I can keep the job really. I know some people probably say you should charge more, but it's not that bad, so I'll just go for it. Each their own, isn't it? Blue gas, sorry, just answering the question here. Coated shouldn't be cleaned with chemicals. Okay, a weak fairy liquid would be fine. So maybe instead of a TFR, just a bit of fairy liquid in your water. It's just to try and soak in whatever's on there, so you can try and shift it and hopefully not having to use anything abrasive. And if you have to, it's a risk, but you're going to have to bear in mind you've got to do it really lightly. But look first as well to make sure it's not got a coat on the outside or a film. It's actually in the glass. So you could ask the question to the customer, how is it tinted? Hopefully, if they're the ones who had it installed, they'll have all the details from manufacturer, but most people don't keep that sort of stuff around the house, do they? Or they could ring them and you could probably get the answer and say, yes, it's safe. No, it's not. So it's probably worth doing your homework first, really. Sorry, Rob, just seen your reply. You'll give it a try. I don't know if you know any window glazers near you, Rob, mate. There's a customer I clean and he actually is a window glazer, so I could perhaps ask him. But if you've got anyone like that nearby, it's worth probably touching base just for a bit of advice, really, because he'll probably be the expert. So new battery 2 months ago. Okay, so it's not that. Been on charge all day, so it should be okay. Fingers crossed, mate. I'll tell you what, there's been something I've noticed on the village I live in, Parson Drove. There's a couple of Parson Drove days that I do. And obviously they've got a lot of work because it's right near my house. I live in the same village. So it's easy for me to put back, fill up with water and get out. So we can crank through a lot of work in the day. And the last couple of Parson Drove days, my water's just suddenly stopped. So there's me thinking, have I got an airlock or something like that? But it's the balance on my flow controllers coming up. So my leisure battery's dropped. So I don't know if I'm having a problem with maybe my leisure battery is starting to get a bit old and needs changing. But it's only happened on those days because obviously I'm driving the least amount that day because it's just from house to house in my own village. I'm not driving anywhere to get to it. So I'm wondering if my leisure battery maybe needs changing. But every other day it's been fine. So being the window cleaner I am, it'll keep going until it's proper buggered. But my way around it was I just turned the ignition on and it just bumped it straight up and I managed to finish my work. So it only happens near the end of the day. But it's something I've got to be aware of. Fingers crossed for you, mate, that it works. The window washer says, hi, all been lovely weather in Warwickshire all week. Sorry, I've just seen the other one here as well, mate. Yeah, made a nice change. You might have said this already, but I thought the Blue Connie windows was self-cleaning glass, so you should just use water. Okay, yeah, so it might not be tinted then. You've got your self-cleaning glass, which obviously we'll kind of laugh at because it doesn't really self-clean, but it does make a difference, I think. It'd be interesting to know what self-cleaning glass is. I do believe in places like London, because it's obviously awkward for people to get round and work round. I've heard, so if any Londoners down there, window cleaners, but I've heard a lot of the glass there is highly polished. So when it rains, the water comes off really quickly. So in effect, it's like self-cleaning glass. And I'm guessing because it's London, it's going to cost you a lot as well to have your windows cleaned. There's problems with access, busy and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if it's that or it could be the colour of the glass. Either way, though, if it's got a slight tint on it, I think we've all sort of like come to an agreement. You've got to be careful what you're doing. But it's definitely worth looking into. Okay, if it's badly stained, rub out, won't even touch it. Okay, it will be etched into the glass. Oh, is he at last joke if it scared it? So I didn't get that bit, mate. It's just me. I'm having a brain fart. Okay, well, most of the time, all the time I've used Unga Rub Out, it's been all right. But obviously it is just, for me, spots on the outside of the glass. It's not stuff that's etched in it, I suppose. Yeah, and if it's etched on the glass, you've got to polish it out, really, haven't you? Again, I'll speak to a window glazer about that. But yeah, worth knowing. Screen share. Just going back here for you. But that's what I use, mate. It's worth a shot, isn't it? And if it's not much cop, it's something you can use in your own house. So, oh, what am I doing? So many buttons here to press. If you haven't already done so, just please subscribe to my channel. It helps me out. But that's that done. Put that to bed. So if anyone's got any more comments on here, please feel free to put them in. And like we said, we'll try and see who would like to be invited in here on the live, take part, and other people give advice, ask questions, all help each other out. I suppose top one there is going to be tinted windows now. There's not that many tinted windows I clean, but you do come across it here and there. You're probably all aware anyway that the glass is tinted to try and stop the UV damage coming through. So like your furniture, so people pay for that done. And that's why you've got to be careful when you clean it, really, because it's going to be expensive. So yeah, I'd seek advice, but try and manage their expectations, and things will probably take a bit longer because you've got to be a bit more delicate when you're cleaning the glass. But I'd always say give it a good soak, and then a bit of fairy liquid. That's going to be cheaper than anything else as well, isn't it? I didn't realise with tinted glass you had to be careful with chemicals, but it would make sense because I know with solar panels you've got to be careful because I've had a customer ask me to clear up their solar panels. It was absolutely covered in lichen. And obviously the idiot I am just says yes, but I explained I may not be able to get it all off, but I've got an idea, but I've got to do research. So I was on about biocide. Then when I got in touch with Algo Clear Pro, because I've used that myself for our property, and I asked, can you use it on solar panels? They said no. They said it depends on the solar panel. Some you can, some you can't, but they just say blanket no because it's safer, because it's easy to make a mistake, I suppose, and they won't get the blame. And what they're explaining is certain types of glass on solar panels, the way they're made, it can make it go misty. So that's why they say no. But they're GK P Pro, isn't it? GK Pro. Their biocides on their website states can be used on solar panels. So I did use that and it did work. But I explained to my customer it's going to take a lot of months for it to weather off and get to the point where I'll be able to actually get it off my water-fed pole. But it did work in the end. I also told them to look up for the product data sheet, or this sheet that I found was, when I was Googling it and finding out. It said manufacturer's details, and it'll state on there what can and can't be used when it comes to cleaning it, and that's basically what we're going to go off. But they told me to go for it, so I did. So that's about it from me, unless anyone's got anything else to say. Just hope this hot weather continues. It'd be nice to be in the shorts so we look like all the postal service and the Royal Mail people there working. Keep in competition with them. Get that old good suntan. I used to have a squaddy one where you basically just get brown hands and your neck and your head is brown, the rest of is white. But at least being a window cleaning Civvy Street now, it's just my arms and then my legs. But it does look funny when you work through the town with a different pair of shorts on and some flip-flops, because you can see where you wear your socks and everything and just look like you got dirty marks on your legs. I'm sure we'll be getting them soon. So just going back to the comments, type markers, just put something up. Unfortunately, I've tried it and no joy. Limestone overhead, hydrophilic, glass panels underneath. Can't use anything abrasive, very temperamental. Yeah, you just got to be careful, haven't you? Right, so the younger rub out's no good. I wouldn't know anything else I could recommend, really, apart from just your water-fed pole and steel wool. If you use steel wool, though, you want one of a Pacific grade. Just bear with me. Wait for a page to load up. So this is just on Amazon, steel wool, and then what you want is 00 or quadruple 0 grade steel wool. That's the finest one you can get, so it'd be perfectly good for glass, and that's what obviously a lot of people from the traditional side of things use, and that's obviously what I got the idea from and used that myself when I first started with the water-fed pole, and I'd use that for troublesome spots. Obviously look around. I can't remember the website I get mine from. It's a woodworking one, so obviously they have this for obviously getting off sanding down paint, I suppose, and that's where I buy mine from. But you can get it from most places, obviously. It might be worth a go, mate, for that, I reckon. It's cheap enough anyway. Okay, the window washer says, have a good week, guys. Robert Moore says, thank you for the great advice. I'm not sure if I've absolutely helped anyone out, or we have, but hopefully between us, we've got some food for thought anyway to help kind of guide us in the right direction to come up to a solution. And I suppose if we all try it and test it, we can talk about it later, can't we? When you get invited on the show as a guest, maybe. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. And have a good week and get the suntans in. Remember, wear your sunglasses, drink plenty of water.